Good morning, good morning, good morning. What is up, folks? Happy Tuesday. It is January the 28th. JTW here with I guess I should start abbreviating that to JT. I just feel like it was easier to say than JTW, just JT. JT here with another Xtrades FOMO live stream. Hope everybody is doing well this morning. Obviously, we had quite an interesting day yesterday in the markets with the news of DeepSeek and its potential efficiency gains in the AI space. That has, I don't think, unless you've had your head in the sand for a lot. What's up, Unknown Reviews? Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, unless you've had your head in the sand for the last, 36 hours, 72 hours or something like that. I think you're well aware of what's been going on with the markets. China announcing their DeepSeek platform has, gained all this efficiency, is doing more with less as far as hardware goes. That has clearly put a serious cloud over top of the AI play. We saw a lot of those names pull back. NVIDIA with the largest market cap loss in history yesterday. So pretty wild stuff. But that being said, we've talked about it thoroughly in the chats yesterday and Sunday evening as we kind of all saw what was coming. And my take on it is certainly, let's see how legit this is, and does it not also ultimately wind up positively for some of these AI names like NVIDIA, for example. DeepSeek does not claim to be using different chips. They say they're using NVIDIA chips. They just say they're using older and less expensive chips. There's some how do I say this? There are some thought leaders in the AI space who have pushed back against that and said, no, they're really using a lot more, and the more recent Blackwell chips, they just can't really talk about it because of the export controls that are supposed to be on those, etc. There's also, some question about, how fudged are these numbers? China has kind of been known for that, and especially something that could be, considered kind of a quote unquote AI arms race. Certainly something that I think they would be more than willing to put out some bogus data on to cause exactly the reaction that we saw yesterday, which is, shaking of confidence, things pulling back, people exiting positions, etc. They want to do everything they can to be disruptors to what any other country is doing with regards to AI. Again, there may be some validity to it. Even if there is, I don't think it's a terrible thing long term. And then again, there's the question of, well, is what they're saying true? And that's a huge question mark for me. I think I saw somebody else make this comparison at some point, but kind of reminds me of the Luckin coffee days, if anybody remembers that name, where Luckin was supposed to be the new Starbucks coming out of China. And they had all these great earnings reports and numbers and all that, and it turns out they were just totally cooking their books. So, again, kind of take all this stuff with a grain of salt. And you always, of course, we always have the market adages or mottos that have been around forever: buy fear, sell greed. Clearly, yesterday was a heavy fear day. And in my opinion, like I said, even going back to Sunday, looks like a buy the dip opportunity to me. So anyway, all that said, let's get into some technical analysis. Enough with kind of the headlines. Let's get into some technical analysis. We'll talk about things here on ES. We'll go through our trade plans that we've got hanging out there, both our member selected trade plans from Sunday's plans that I posted in the Xtrades Discord. We'll also touch on the trade plans we did on Thursday's live stream. Unknown Reviews in here with a ticker request. So if you guys want to go ahead and start dropping those, please feel free to do that. I see Navy Plum's got sound. What's up, Trading Dad? Good morning to you. I see that, yeah, we got sound on the docket and DHR. I don't think I know what DHR is, Unknown Reviews, so congrats. Not a lot of times folks come up with tickers that I've just never ever heard of before. I might pull it up and be like, oh yeah, that's what it is, but Don't know what it is off the top of my head. So anyway, let's talk about things. What are we seeing here on ES? We talked about these supply zones last week. Certainly didn't expect to see a rapid pullback and test of that so quickly, but here we are. It is what it is now at this point. So we did see a little bit of a liquidity sweep below, but ultimately the supply zone holding up. Sorry, supply zone, demand zone, holding up and pushing things higher back into the key selling pressure here on NTS. We're also struggling a little bit with the 200 SMA right there overhead. So to me, I think it's, kind of pretty obvious that if we can get a break over this 60, 72, 50 level where we've topped out, we've got that NTS selling pressure right there. I'd imagine we'll at least see a test of this 6102, possible gap entry level here, and then a potential gap fill on up to 6120. So keep that 6072 on watch. That could be the trigger that fires off the next leg up in recovery from the pretty significant dip we saw across the markets yesterday. Pullback areas, I do like this 333 SMA sitting right here with this 6002 level. You can just call it 6000 flat. I mean, on NES, it's essentially the same number. So yeah, watch 6000 for potential buy the dip opportunity, and I'd have my stop loss down here closer to 5960, call it, and some change, with a, looking for a bounce to retest this current resistance up here at 6072. So ES looking pretty good overall, despite that big pullback yesterday. It bounced where it's supposed to bounce. It just has some resistances that are some confluences of resistance, I should say, overhead, that it really needs to just finish fighting through and getting over that. And then I think we see it try to push and continue that recovery, at least for this gap fill, if not for a test of the supply zone overhead. What's up, Alex? Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. So let's get into our member selected trade plans. We did these over the weekend, and I posted them in the Xtrades Discord community. For those of you watching on YouTube, if you haven't given the Xtrades Discord a shot, I highly recommend it. Free trials are available, all that good stuff. Chris can certainly help folks out. I'm sure he will be here before too long. My 17-year-old son wants to learn how to trade. That's a really good question. I would say Alex, are you in the Xtrades Discord out of curiosity? I do want to help you with this question, but I don't want to get too bogged down in it during the live stream. So I want to know kind of what our options to communicate outside of the live stream might be. What's up, VK? Good morning to you. So yeah, let me know, Alex. Are you in the Xtrades? No, you're not in the Xtrades Discord. Okay. Let's do this. I'm gonna put my trading Gmail account, my one that's attached to my NTS subscriptions. I'll shoot that to you. Generally, I would say though, like just quick at a glance recommendation, if you want to get him into it. What's the link for the Discord? Yeah, I can give you that. Sorry, folks. Let me just help this guy out real quick, and then we'll jump into our analysis. Let's see. Invite. Copy. Here you go, Alex. That's the Discord. Come get a free trial. You'll see me in the Discord group. JT is my username in there. So go ahead and shoot me a DM. Come join the Xtrades Discord, get the trial, shoot me a DM. That'll be the easier way for us to communicate back and forth and share stuff back and forth. I mean, you could shoot me an email, but it's not going to be as effective, I think, as being able to go back and forth a little bit. The long story short is, I would find a stock that he is interested in. Like, he's probably a little bit too old for Roblox at 17, but, Roblox or, something like that, something that's also kind of a mid to low cap stock. Have him start learning support and resistance, and buying at support, selling at resistance, that sort of stuff, on a stock that he likes, and have him just trade shares on something that's, maybe going to cost you a few $100 at the most to have him maybe trading 10 shares at a time or something like that. That would kind of be a general, how do you get a kid into trading and kind of cut their teeth you know, without there being a lot of exposure. That's kind of a very high level how I would do it. So going back to our trade plan reviews, we had Meta on the docket from yesterday. This one did give us a nice breakout, tested PT1, came back, tested our stop loss average down, and has continued to push higher. Looks to be trying to flip PT1 from resistance to support here this morning and trying to push for PT2. What's up, Alchemy? Good morning to you, brother. Good morning, Josh. Good morning, VK. Yeah, I will, VK, I will respond to your email or shoot me another DM just so I don't forget. I do remember you messaging me, but I get a lot of DMs, so it's probably buried at this point. I've not intentionally ignored you, that's for sure. It's just sometimes there's a lot to get through on a day-to-day basis, and sometimes there's more things to get to than there are hours in the day. So again, Meta trying to push for PT2. Remember, these are all fib extensions, like generally how we've seen this kind of clean itself up here at PT1 as far as these fib extensions go. So these are untested levels. We're getting very close to that PT2 level there and trying to flip PT1 to support, but great buy the dip opportunity off that stop loss average down and a nice entry for PT1. Opportunity as well. So again, I kind of prescribe these plans with very specific entries and stuff like that in mind. I say this all the time. If you guys chart these, put these levels on your charts, use them to your advantage, and obviously, re-engineer the levels however you see fit. Clearly, we had a key support there at 643.90. That would have been a great buy the dip opportunity if you were willing to pull the trigger on that. But overall, Meta's playing out to the upside and looking good. We also had Google. Google got caught in the big AI sell-off yesterday, gap down below PT2. So for me, this was essentially a no trade. This plan basically played out before we could do anything with it. It seems like it's trying to rally back up to the upside, though. It's made higher lows, not really doing a great job of making higher highs yet, but higher lows so far. That's a good look, and seems to be trying to flip this PT3 back to support here pre-market there at 192.53. So if that holds, Google could try to make a push for that 195.33 gap entry level that it broke down below yesterday, that PT2 level. If it can get to that and through that, well, then we start seeing it work on filling this gap, which takes it all the way up to about 200 almost. So Google could be a good buy the dip opportunity setting up, especially if 192.53 holds. I'd be very careful if you did take that kind of an entry holding anything below 191.52. So keep that in mind. It gives you about $1 worth of risk, but I wouldn't want to be holding anything in this kind of consolidation adjustment through that volatility that we saw yesterday. We may see another day of generally flat movement while the market continues to digest the DeepSeek news and figures out how it wants to move forward from there. Boeing, this one's not really giving us a break to either side, still holding above the put entry. Overall, holding up bullish from an NTS standpoint. Would really like to see it get back over 177.25, and then we could see it push higher for potentially a test of the call entry, and then some price targets if it can break through that 179.70 level. But overall, BA's been kind of just a wait and see trade still. So keep your eyes on it. Again, I like it if you can get over these SMAs, and especially if you can get over 177.25. I think that could bring a test of 179.70 bare minimum. Last week we did Texas Instruments. This one was, I'm pretty sure, an unknown reviews request, with it being heading into earnings. Earnings kind of had it go all over the place, but ultimately did break to the downside, broke below, gave us a, let me move this out of the way, broke below, gave us a back test, has pushed down to PT2. This is something that I say often when we're talking about these options trade plans. Sometimes the analysis and the plan plays out while we aren't really able to do much with it. Here you see that Friday going into Monday, we came down to PT3 and tested that and have bounced since then. So again, just keep that in mind as you're trading these options contracts and considering whether or not you want to swing. You need to be mindful of the fact that your analysis can play out and the price can start heading back against your current positions, if that analysis does play out during the extended hours session. But overall, Texas Instruments was a good trade to the downside. You just had to wait for that earnings to pass. Then you got your break below, back test pre-market, and started shooting down from there. And then last but not least, Coupang. This was also requested last week. This keeps giving us breaks to the upside, but not quite getting to PT1, which has been interesting to see. But we'll keep an eye on it. I do like how some of this support is building up here at 22.44. So I'd keep that on watch as a potential buy the dip level as a back test off that call entry, and then just stick to the plan there with your stop loss at 22.12 and upside targets at 22.93, 23.29, and 23.81. So those are our trade plan recaps. Let's get to our new ticker requests that we've got here this morning. Good morning to everybody that has joined and chimed in. I really appreciate y'all being here. So let's go. Let's get some new trade plans together. Had what was it? DHR from Unknown Reviews. Whoops, not DJR. Golly, get your fingers to work right this morning. Danaher Corporation. Never heard of this one. No clue. Decent volume. Earnings tomorrow. Guessing pre-market. Doesn't say. Oh, well, indicators are just popping up. It still doesn't say. Interesting. Oh, there it is. Wednesday, so tomorrow pre-market. So keep that in mind. It does look like a nice breakout over some of these local resistances. What exactly does Danaher do? Danaher? Design and manufacture professional, medical, industrial. So, kind of. Hey, what's up, Strife? Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Good to see you in the mix. Feel like I haven't seen you in a little while. Hope you're doing well. All right, so let's take a look at Danaher. Again, Danaher. Never heard of it. It's probably the better name for it. All right, so let's get some of these levels locked in here. Let's see how this starts to shape up in the way of trade planning. Yeah, something sitting there. Yeah, I hope you've been well. Certainly have missed you chiming in and saying good morning and all that stuff. But it's good to see you in the mix. As always. Long-time listener, first-time caller. All right, yeah, I like that level there. Something sitting right about there. That's current all-time highs, so not true support and resistance, but something we'll want to keep on watch. Don't know if we'll even need it, but we may be out for all targets hit before we get up there, but doesn't hurt to market. All right. So that being said, let's continue on here. This one I already noted was kind of weird. Phantom candle price action during the extended hour session. So this one I'm going to focus on regular trading hours only. Interesting rejection there, but not. I do like that level. That's that we're trying to push through here pre-market. Actually, we might already. We're right around it pre-market, I should say. That's an interesting level there. Yeah, man, everything is good here. Glad to see that you've been staying sharp, even if you've had a busy start to the year. I certainly can commiserate with that. It has definitely been a busy start to 2025 for me as well, but busy's good, right? If I wasn't busy, I'd be bored. All right. I think that looks pretty good on any kind of major, well, take that back. We've got a little bit of a consolidation level, it looks like, right in here also. Okay, that looks good. So let's keep rolling. What's up, Chris? Good morning to you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Better late than never, as we always say. Or as the saying goes. I don't know if we always say that, but as the saying goes. All right. Starting to see some signs of how I want to set this trade plan up. You want to take one more. I just want to take a look at this hourly real quick and see how that sets us up. So everything looks good. 200 crossing over the 333 there on the hourly 4-hour. Trying to fight through these bearish SMAs. 333 overhead. Little quick flip of support to resistance there. So what I'm thinking is it looks good over 254.50. Gives us a first target up here at 261.59. There's potential little bit of resistance there at that weekly, or I shouldn't say a little bit, potential resistance point there at the weekly, but I like how we're clearing out some stuff. I think we can fight through that, or I think DHR can fight through that. If it can get over that 333 SMA, 254.50 confluence. Over that, I definitely would be looking at this weekly level, next target, and it looks like there is a little regular trading hours gap to fill. It takes us very close, although this daily level might also need to be adjusted just a little bit. Yeah, right there. So I like those 1, 2, 3 price targets. Stop loss average down is the last question on this upside trade plan. I don't know, possibly, Chris, but you know I like to chart anything that you request. So if you've got something that you're eyeballing, let's have it. Yeah, I'm going to go with the stop loss here at 249.40 on this upside trade plan. Take this downside trade plan just below and you share that stop loss with the upside trade plan. First and second targets are right there. Boom, boom. And third targets, actually. I think we've got those all with these higher time frame levels. Let's take a look at, again, how this stacks up. Yeah, I like it. All right, so let's go. Again, be mindful. Earnings report tomorrow, pre-market. Be very cognizant, aware, mindful of that. Considering swinging anything, certainly recommend some kind of a short-term spread if you swing anything, and lots of time on any long positions. All right, so this is the DHR live stream plan. This in the elite chat as well. All right, so what are we looking for here on DHR? We are looking for a break above 254.50. That should give us targets at 261.59, 266.03, and 271.11 with a stop loss average down at 249.90. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 246.39. That should give us targets at 241.27, 238.20, and 232.11 with a shared stop loss average down with the upside trade plan there at 249.90. Those are your DHR trade plans. Unknown reviews, go get them. DKNG, if we've got time, sure, we'll try to squeeze that in. All right, what was the next one? I think it was over in Discord. Navy Plum with Soundhound AI. Let's take a look. Let's get back to extended trading hours, which is what I generally recommend. Interesting. Sound is right back in an existing trade plan range here. Did give us a fake out to the downside though on the last trade plan, so clearly the levels that I put together previously, I missed something there. So let's take a look at this. Maybe that's the something, 200 SMA. Could have been. We're definitely below that now. Well, the other thing, and I take back the, maybe I missed something, because I may not have, there's just not a lot of price action in that range. All right, let's take a look. Let's see if we can find something on this hourly chart that helps a little bit. Nothing there that's convincing. Couple of dips off this 1250. With it being 1250, could be a psych level. Sorry, I'm just sitting here thinking if I want to. I don't usually do this. On the 30-minute chart, still not really making anything clear in this range. There is an interesting pullback here. Let's see what this shows us. So it could be something around that 1296 level, actually. I mean, it's very thin, for lack of a better way of saying it, as far as there's not a lot of proof based on price action that there's going to be something there. All right, sorry, I'm getting a little bogged down by this downside trade plan. I just don't want to get caught in another fake out to the downside. 1177. Do we just wait for that to clear out? I guess is now my question. Yeah, it's a patience play to play this downside. I am going to make this adjustment though. I'm going to switch this up. I like that better based on everything I'm seeing. I don't love those fib retracements. It just doesn't look like it's adding a whole lot to the chart. If we do that, then we're looking at something that looks more like this. Maybe that's our only adjustment. The other thing that I would say though, is as long as this 1170 set, well, if 1284 is holding, I should say this could be a good buy the dip opportunity. I'm surprised it got another dip after that gap down yesterday, but it's catching that key level right around it there at 1284. Sorry, I'm getting into the weeds here. All right, so this is how I would adjust this sound hound trade plan. The other thing that I'll throw out here though is definitely a buy the dip opportunity as long as 1284 is holding. We also have a gap to fill to the upside. I would actually be a more prudent. I am going to make a couple more adjustments to this actually. Be remiss if we didn't scale some out on a gap fill. That's always a great rejection possibility. Over that, I think there is another level here. So we are going to make some adjustments to the upside plan as well, actually. Other than that, I like very much what we had in place. So a few tweaks, but overall I think this looks solid. Nice confluences in a few spots that I've noticed as I've gone through the time frames that we've got here. So let's, talk through the sound live stream plans. And I'll post this in the Elite chat as well. All right, so what are we looking for here on SoundHound? We are looking for a break above 1391. That should give us a first price target up there at 1514, second target on the gap fill to 1596, third target up to 1712, stop loss average down at 1284. I also like buying the dip on this as long as 1284 is holding, and then playing through the plan from there. I would use 1177 as the stop loss on that potential dip buy. Trade plan entry below 1177. If that does break to the downside, well, then we're looking at downside targets at 1055, 940, and 845 with a shared stop loss average down at 1284. Those are your SoundHound live stream plans. Let's go. All right, let's get back to the live stream. Let's see. Yeah, of course, VK, happy to help. All right, so Outlaw, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Spent some time with Outlaw over the weekend doing some mentoring. Hopefully you're, I know that you said you had some work stuff going on, but hopefully you've been working on those support and resistance levels, going through the process we covered over the weekend, referring back to that mentoring video that we did as needed. Cup of Magic wants to take a look at NVIDIA, and Chris wants to take a look at DKNG. NBIS will be the next SMCI. Okay, I got a lot going on here. I already discussed NVIDIA. Yeah, we talked a little bit about the DeepSeek thing, new trader. I'm sorry, I'm just catching up on the chat, guys. So we did talk about the DeepSeek thing a little bit. You know, again, I think it, you know, sort of watch cautiously with all that. You know, again, I without, well, this is just facts. You know, got to be very careful, and I use the Luckin Coffee example kind of as a comparison with, you know, kind of any misinformation, disinformation, especially in the quote-unquote AI arms race, is certainly a strategy I would not put past China implementing. So, you know, keep that in mind. This whole DeepSeek thing could be a bit of a red herring, if you will. All right, so NVIDIA obviously got clapped yesterday by that DeepSeek information. Claims that we can do more with less, being the concern for chip makers like NVIDIA. Question is, where does this already filled this gap up and are trying to hold? I mean, I think NVIDIA will recover. I don't see, let's check this on a couple other time frames. I don't see much in the way of taking a shot at something like this. Yeah, good. Outlaw, yeah, I really enjoyed working with you. I think you've got a bright trading future ahead of you. You're approaching all of this very patiently and methodically. That is going to be a difference maker as far as how expensive, when I say expensive, how many big losses do you have to realize before you start to get your legs under you as far as your trading system goes, what's going to work for you. I think your approach is going to serve you very well. Looking forward to working with you some more whenever you're ready. All right, so there's definitely a downside opportunity in here too, possibly. Again, I would be very, very careful with NVIDIA. A lot going on with this, but scared money don't make money. So let's be prepared. If you're willing to take that risk, have a plan. And if I can fly through this in the next couple of minutes, let's try to get through DKNG. Chris, definitely onto something with the Super Bowl catalyst. I know that betting was up big time on the playoff games and probably on the college football national championship game. So DKNG probably looking like a sweetheart right now. Sports betting legalized in more and more states every day. Yeah, SOXL is not a bad way to look at this as far as a chip dip, buy the chip dip. All right, the question is what happens below 118.84? It's been a while since NVIDIA has been below that level. I need this price history to determine. I was already looking at this. What I see here confirms it. PT2, PT3 to the downside. Could be a little bit of a stretch. Could take it down to, what is that, 113? Be very shocked if that didn't hold. But market's always ready to surprise. All right, I am going to, just to make it a little bit easier for folks to see in a recap, replay kind of format, I will pull these over to a separate layout so it's easy to see. We'll put this in the recap chart. All right, that should make it easier. Let's plan this out. So these are the NVIDIA live stream plans here and here, and of course in the elite chat. So what are we looking for on NVIDIA? We are looking for a break over 122.91. That should give us targets at 125.05, 127.64, and 129.93 with a stop loss average down at 121.20. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 119.45. That should give us targets at 117.26, 115.57, and 112.93. Shared stop loss average down with the upside trade plan there at 121.20. Those are your NVIDIA trade plans. All right, let's see if we can get a fourth one in the mix here for Chris, DKNG. Relative strength yesterday. Got back up, filled the gap. I'm on the recap chart. I was like, where are all my levels on DraftKings? I know I've charted it plenty of times. So if I'm on the right layout. All right, let me get back to morning live stream chat. All right, so what are we looking for here on DKNG? It's been butting its head up against this 41.78 daily resistance a few times. Quick little print above there. Let's zoom this out real quick. It's been a little while, I think, since I've looked at DraftKings. Let's also clean this chart up real quick. Boom, boom. Yeah, we'll need those anymore. There we go. All right, that looks better. Very close to there being a weekly level. Right in here. Let's take a look at this on the 24-hour. Get out of the way. I'm looking at something right around this 42, 43. Could be just a tad higher right there. Yeah, it's kind of a sneaky hidden little level in here, but I think we have one. Whoops. Have one that we'd want to have on watch for any kind of a trade plan. So I think that's our shot at playing this to the upside. Yeah, there's a level I didn't have charted yet here on the 24-hour. I like as a PT1, PT2, kind of a quick PT1, PT2. Over that, I think you can take a shot up here at this 47, 48. Stop loss, average down. Let's take a look at this on the hourly real quick. A little bit torn on that stop loss level based on higher time frames. That is so close to just being this weekly level. Or I have that weekly level a little. Yeah, let's... Actually, yeah, I am going to make a small adjustment to that, and then we'll use it. Our stop loss, I like that. Downside doesn't really start to expand and open up until we get below this 38.71. Stop loss there at 39.84. I'll be very surprised if this winds up being a downside trade plan based on the catalysts at play in the Super Bowl right around the corner. Yeah, I think it's kind of going to be a little bit of a one-to-one risk-reward setup. We'll take a look at that as I lay out the long-short tools. I do like that as a second price target. I like this as a third target. So very close to having all the necessary levels for this trade plan on the chart. Definitely giving plenty of room for this upside trade plan to play out. I'll throw this out there. I think it's maybe a little too limiting, especially with some of the volatility we're seeing currently in the market, but potential for there to be a more risk adverse stop loss up here at 41.32. I'm going to map the plan out to use the more liberal stop loss. Give it a little bit of extra room there. A little bit better than a one-to-one risk reward. If you do, it's about 2-to-1 if we, you know what, I'm not gonna, let's not, especially with this being a shorter term catalyst play, let's keep that stop loss tight. I changed my mind. Let's see how this stacks up. Yeah, about what I thought. This is actually a little high. Right at a 1-to-1. Move a little bit for me, please, right there. Yeah, right at about a 1-to-1 risk reward to the downside. So that would be a start small, scale in if it even plays out. So these are the DraftKings live stream plans. I don't need all that extra space there. All right, let's go. Got 4 in today. We flew through them. And last but not least, over in the Elite Xtrades chat for posterity. Whoops, so I spell everyone right. All right, so what are we looking for here on DraftKings? We're looking for a break over 42.43. That should bring targets at 44, 53, 45, 84, and 47.48 with a stop loss average down at 41.32. To the downside, we're waiting for a break below 38.71. That should bring downside targets at 37.42, 36.31, and 35.30 with a stop loss average down at 39.84. Those are your DraftKings trade plans. All right, with that being said, we're getting close to market open. I need to go get the SPY plan put together and try to set some alerts on some of these plans. So I want to thank everybody for joining me this morning. As always, it is much appreciated when you spend your time with me. Hopefully you all are learning and profiting from these live streams. That is the ultimate goal here. So as we always say on the Xtrades FOMO live streams, plan your trades and trade your plans. Go out there and get some green. Keep your wins big. Keep your losses small. I will see you all in the Discord. I did post a link to that in the YouTube chat. So if you haven't checked us out yet, click that link. Come join. Get a free trial. Hopefully you'll stick around. I'll be surprised if you decided not to. We will be back Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our last FOMO live stream of January 2025. So until then, I want to thank you all again for joining me, and I will see you Thursday morning. Until then, take care. Have a great day.